Hey guys, welcome to the Deansy Boys Show podcast. I am your host, Rhys Deans, and welcome to a special edition of the Deansy Boys Show, where it's the Barrytown United Series Special, where I conduct an interview with anyone who is involved with the club, inside or outside. Guys, I know it's been a long time since I had the Barrytown United Special, and I know that episode 1 was more than a month ago, and I had an interview with Ian Johnson about his days of being a fan for the club, and his political movement and all that stuff. But guys, I'm back with another episode of the Barrytown United Special, and I have a very special guest here. He is my good friend. He is also the voice of Jenner Park. His name is Ryan Cox. Ryan, thank you for coming on the show.
It's a pleasure to be on. Thank you for having me, Rhys.
Oh, no worries. Now, I know you're a big fan of the Deansy Boys Show. You've sent me quite a lot of feedback as well, and the reason why I wanted you to come on the show is because you've done the tannoy. You've been the voice of Jenner Park at the Barrytown games and also other games as well. And I want to learn and hear more of your stories as a Barrytown fan, what you did outside of the football or inside of the football, and you can basically say what you want to say. I've got no problem whatsoever. But first things first, how are you?
I'm very well, Rhys. I just want to say I listened to your first episode with Ian Johnson. I thought you did top job, and hope there's many more of those to come after today. I got involved supporting Barrytown around about 1997, 1998. No, I think it was around about 1998. The first Barrytown United or Barrytown game I went to watch was against Aberystwyth Town in the Welsh Premier League. We won 6-1 that day. Danny Carter scored a hat-trick, and then Darren Ryan, Gary Lloyd and Avion Williams scored the rest of the goals in that tremendous win. Obviously, a year or two later, we beat them again 8-1, which to this day, that 8-1 win for Barry against Aberystwyth, that to this day, it's Aberystwyth's heaviest defeat in the Welsh Premier League.
We've all have like heavy. We've always beaten loads of teams, haven't we? Like if you look back at some of the moments, it's mad how we beat these teams like 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, 8-0, 10-0.
Absolutely, yeah, with TNS. No one will forget that.
No, I don't think TNS will forget that. Do carry on about your days as being a Barrytown supporter then. So you started in the late 1990s. You've been going to watch some of the Barrytown games. One question I wanted to ask you is, did you ever go watch... I know you told me before that Barry were playing in Europe and everything like that, but did you go and watch him away rather than at home?
Sadly not, no. Sadly not away from Jenner Park. Obviously, it would be nice to go to across Europe, like Lithuania and Portugal, Porto, Boavista, but no, stayed at Jenner Park. The first time I watched Barry play in Europe at Jenner Park was Dynamo Kiev back in July 1998. The first leg, obviously, we want to forget. We lost 8-0 in that first leg. But the second leg was a bit better, but still lost that game. We were 1-0 down, and all of a sudden we were 9-0 down on aggregate. But then there was a moment of brilliance in that game. Danny Carter was on the wing, produced this fantastic whip-in cross, and Avion Williams with the diving header found the back of the net, and the whole place erupted. The people behind the stands, on the seats, it was erupted. The whole place erupted, and they thought, right, we're going to try and, even though we're not going to catch them on aggregate, but try and beat them. But later on in the game, they scored the second, and in the end, we lost the game 2-1. But I thought at that time it was just fantastic to watch Barry play in the Champions League game against whoever team. It was such a great occasion, even though we lost, and it's something I won't forget.
When I think when you said you won't ever forget, especially because Barrytown, they're not the sort of team that would be, go into the major finals. They're not that sort of team. No offense, I support Barrytown myself, but like you said, we played a good game against Dynamo Kiev. 2-1. I know we lost miserably in the first leg, but in the second leg we gave them a game. But there was another one, and I think you know why. Not why. I think you know what game it was. It begins in Portugal. In the first leg, we lose 8-0. But the second leg, that was a fairy tale story. And it was that Champions League game, and that was Porto.
Yes. Obviously, the first leg we want to forget from it as a Barrytown perspective. But the night that we won against Porto at Jenner Park. Now, I have to be honest here. I wasn't there that night when Barry won 3-1 against Porto. I was actually at Ninian Park to watch a pre-season friendly between Cardiff City and Coventry City.
Cardiff.
I know. That's the only regret I've ever made as a watching Barrytown. That was the biggest mistake I've ever made, to be honest with you. Cardiff won 1-0 that night, but what happened across 8 miles away from Cardiff? What happened 8 miles away? Barry winning 3-1. Oh man, I missed that game. It's my fault, and I missed that glorious night.
But you're not only a Barrytown supporter. It's like myself. I may be a Barrytown supporter, but I also support Everton. You, on the other hand, you support Coventry.
Yes.
So we can all, if anyone's listening, if any Barrytown fan was listening, or any other Welsh teams, I think they would forgive you, because you were not supporting Cardiff, you were supporting Coventry.
Yes.
But I think anyone would say, we've regrettably missed that game. But what was it like going back into Barry when you first heard the news or something?
I think when I got home, my brother had a massive smile on his face, because he witnessed possibly the greatest victory in the history of Barrytown Football Club, and in particular the Champions League, and then obviously Porto. After that they've gone on to win the Champions League 2 or 3 seasons later. So it's it's extraordinary story if you think about it.
Well, that's it is one of those fairy tale moments and a true underdog story, because even though we got beaten 8-0 in the first leg, people will never forget that moment where Barrytown beat Porto 3-1. And we all knew that Porto were going into that other round as the dominant team, but we left them something to say, you may struggle in this next round, because you lost to us 3-1, and we're a smaller club, a way smaller club, But it was afterwards, because I think that match was, in 2001?
It's around about August 2001, and the Barry goal scorers, Gary Lloyd penalty, Lee Phillips and Mike Flynn, they remember those 3 goal scorers for Barry that night.
2001, that was a very special year, and of course, because of the Porto game. But then 2002 and then 2003, we were playing in Europe again. I think we were playing against do you know the it was Azerbaijan club, but I can't remember the name. Do you know them?
It was FC Shamkia from Azerbaijan. I think if my memory is correct, we did quite well against them. I think we won over in Azerbaijan. I'm not particularly sure, but I think we won that tie. That's all I.
And then, oh wait a minute, I remember. Of course, I wasn't a big Barry Town supporter back then, unlike you and everyone else. But I remember we beat Shamkia. Then we went on to play Skonto. Then I can't remember the country we're based at.
Latvia. They're from Latvia. Skonto Riga. Riga is the capital of Latvia is Riga. So yeah, Skonto Riga from Latvia.
I'm gonna remember that now. Cheers. But then 2003 came along, and that was the year where turns and like tosses and turns were heading. And I asked Ian about this game, but it was Vardar Skopje.
Vardar Skopje, from Macedonia.
And we I'm not too sure. I can't remember, but we played against them. They gave us a good game, I think at their ground, but at our ground we gave them a game. We won.
Yeah,
but
we won that second leg, but went out 4-2 on aggregate in the end.
Then everything went downhill then afterwards.
Yes, I don't know the story about it, to be honest with you, but I think the financial situation sort of obviously Barry went to administration, full-time players leaving, teams from the local Vale of Glamorgan League so had to be drafted in at the last minute. I think that's what happened, and then all of a sudden winning games against big teams in the Welsh Premier, winning in Europe, and then all of a sudden it all went downhill. And obviously I think we lost 8-0 to Carnarvon, and then every week we seem to lose by big scores, 8-0, 6-0, and it became very difficult during that period.
I remember you telling me once at Jenner Park at a Barry Town game, you actually stopped not technically stopped supporting them, but you didn't go to the games anymore. How come?
I just hated seeing. I just didn't like seeing Barry Town receiving such negativity, and the results. It didn't seem like they were going to turn things around. It didn't seem like they were going to improve the results from that season. And all of a sudden, I stopped going to watch them because I didn't want to see them fall apart. And it just led to me being away from Jenner Park. Truth be told, but I always wanted to know whether it's from my brother or someone else how Barry got on, even though they kept on losing games, and that's what happened really.
How long did you stay away from Jenner Park and all the Barry Town games?
To be honest, I don't remember. I can't remember, to be honest with you. It seems like a long time ago. It was around 2003 onwards to don't know, 2004, 2005 maybe.
And of course, it's one of those moments where you think I don't really particularly want to remember that day because because I can understand from your perspective that you don't want to see the club you love dearly just fall apart right in front of your eyes. It's like losing a family member, But I remember you telling me. I think you told me before how many years was it, but I won't say how many, just in case the viewers might think, "Oh, why is that?" Yeah. And I'll defend you all the way, saying, "No, he had a right to do that." You came back though in the end.
Yes.
You came back.
I'll tell you a story about that. My brother went to watch Barry Town play Merthyr Town, the Welsh Cup. It was that that season, 2011-2012 season, if I'm right, that both Merthyr and Newport County were allowed back into the Welsh Cup that season, for that one season. The first round, Barry were drawn to face Merthyr. Now, obviously, you know, these two teams have had quite a history.
Yeah, I was there. I was actually there at that game as well.
I wasn't. So
it was amazing. It was actually really good. It was so funny.
Absolutely, you had a fantastic day, and the sun is shining.
We had Merthyr chips as well.
Yeah, you had the Merthyr chips. But obviously, I watched the clip on YouTube the other day of the game, and I think it was Barry took it seriously. Merthyr sort of didn't took it seriously, because obviously the history between Barry and Merthyr is important. The Merthyr Town side didn't take it seriously. Barry Town took it seriously, and we went down to Penydarren Park and produced a fantastic game of football and blew them away, won 3-0. And then everyone from Barry came home happy because of the result. And the second round, it was Haverfordwest County away.
I don't think I was there at that game. I'm in all honesty, I think because at the time, for me, I know that it was, but I had to clear this one out. I don't remember this one because I wasn't there. I was a big Cardiff City fan back then, even though I was supporting Everton and Barry as well. Mm-hmm. But guys, later on in the podcast, I'll come clean why I don't support Cardiff no more. But let's come back to the chase. Yeah, so tell me more about the Haverfordwest game.
Well, my brother went to Haverfordwest, and the game was quite tense. I think Barry scored first, and then Haverfordwest equalised, and then it was coming up towards the injury time, or it might have been in extra time. Josh Bell produced a fantastic goal from. It was like a free kick, but it was laid. It was a laid pass to him, and then he just hit it over the defenders into the back of the net. The whole stand was buzzing, full of Barry fans. And then that turned out to be the winning goal that took us to the third round of the Welsh Cup. And the next day, on Sunday, the draw for the third round of the Welsh Cup took place. And my brother and I were watching the draw on his mobile phone. Because obviously Twitter was around back then, I think, and we were waiting patiently to see who Barry would face with anticipation. And then Newport County's name came out first, and then seconds later Barry Town's name came out. So they were drawn to play Newport County, and my brother sort of punched the air with excitement and delight, because it's been quite a while since Barry and Newport faced each other, particularly in a Welsh Cup tie. I don't know if that game was the first time they've played in the Welsh Cup, or they might have played in the Welsh Cup before then. But I said to him, I want to go. I haven't seen Barry Town play for ages. I want to go to watch them play Newport County at Spitty Park for that Welsh Cup third round tie in 2011, I think it was. So yeah, really, I was looking forward to it, and yeah, I just couldn't wait until the big day. That's all.
Of course, with that game, though, it was a good moment for Barry and Newport to play against each other again. We lost out 3-2.
Yes, we gave him a fright. We gave him a scare early on, because we were 1-0 up, I think TJ Nagy scored quite a fantastic spot-on goal. It was curled and it hit the top left-hand corner of the post into the back of the net. And obviously Newport equalised afterwards, and then they were in front for the first time, and obviously we were having to chase the game. And then we had a bit of luck in the second half for a penalty. Nicky Jones scored the penalty, back to 2-2. And then and I just sort of thought to myself, we've got a fantastic opportunity to make it to the fourth round and cause an upset against Newport. So
like doing the unthinkable.
Do the unthinkable, and obviously Newport County, I have to say, that night the third goal they scored was a fantastic goal, and you rather be happy to lost by a fantastic goal rather than losing with a soft goal or a deflection, anything like that. But they scored a brilliant third goal from just over the halfway line, and 3-2. And I think later on in the game we were reduced to 10 men, and then there was no way back in the end. We were up against it, but it was a fantastic performance from the Barry players that night, and it kind of inspired me to come back supporting Barry Town again. And I think later on that week, on the Saturday, we played West End at Jenner Park, and we won 3-1 that day.
Yeah, and that was when I actually first met you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
So who are you? Who are you?
Who are you? Where you come from?
No, bugger off.
Yeah, but and obviously they put in some fantastic performances after the Newport game, and I immediately came back to Jenner Park. Yeah, still a hands in the air.
Hands in the air for me, go. That's when we stop.
Yeah, so I got involved with the club again, which means a lot.
Okay, when we were, because we both know, you and I, and majority of the Barry Town fans, and we should let other football fans know that at the time Barry Town we're still in. Excuse my French. We were in the shit still. I mean, we were actually we were still in financial difficulties. We were still in bad ownership from Stuart Lovering, and we all like me, Ryan, and a few others. We can actually say a few words, but we won't say anything about the man, just in case we get sued or anything like that.
No. That'd be appropriate, not to slag anybody off.
Yeah. So we're not going to say anything, but during that time, even though we were under that dark cloud, you and I and a few other fans, we had speaking of Welsh Cups, we had a very good one in 2012 and the 2013 Welsh Cup run. Please, Ryan.
Yes.
You're a good storyteller. Please take us back to that Welsh Cup run. It was the most fantastic Welsh Cup run I ever seen as a Barry Town fan, and especially you. Please tell us what went down.
It was quite an extraordinary season. Even though we were pulled out of the league that same season, the Welsh Cup run. Okay, the first round. We drawn to face Caerleon at Coldbath Road. I wasn't there because I was away for a week. My brother made a decision that day whether to take a chance of going back to Caerleon, because I know during that season, the second game of the Welsh League Division 1 season, we'd lost 1-0 that day. So he had a decision to make whether to go back or not go to the game at all. So in the end, he took a chance of going because it's a Welsh Cup and anything can happen in a Welsh Cup.
Well, anything can happen in any cup.
Yeah.
And so
And obviously the Welsh Cup has been so important to Barry Town Football Club for so many years. 6 times Barry have won the Welsh Cup. But in the end, he went to Caerleon, and I've been receiving messages from him, letting me know what's happened, and they were winning. I'm not sure what the score was, but
I think it was Carleon winning or us. No, we were winning.
We were winning.
Yeah, I think we won 3-1, 4-1, something like that.
Okay, so I think it was a 4-1 win, wasn't it, in the end?
I think it was a 4 win because I remember the time because I was at the game with my little flat cap and British Bulldog top, and it was a very nice day. I have to admit it was a fan. And Carleon's gone, even though there isn't much to see, but the sky was blue, the fields were green.
They do have a fantastic like a fortress thing just across the road, the Roman fortress.
Yeah, they had the Roman fortress just on the other side of the field.
Yeah,
and nice, very historical area.
Historical piece of land, I have to say.
And I remember we were under the stands and we were singing, but Jason, we all know how big Jason is, and and when he comes to banging on walls and anything like that, we thought we nearly broke them. We thought we nearly broke the stand because he was banging on the wall. He was banging on the stand so hard.
He was banging with full force on it, so he thought the stand was going to fall off.
Oh Jesus! Right. Oh, don't worry. He was so big he can carry it on. But yeah, we remember it was me and Ashley and Jason. We didn't stay long in the stand. We actually went behind the goals and we just started having a chat about what was going to happen and all that sort of things. But I remember we actually won that day, 4-1, and it was a lovely day. It was a very nice, lovely day. But the next one though, we had.
Yeah, obviously we won 4-1 at Caerleon to progress to the second round, and then the second round draw took place during the week, and we were drawn to an away trip to Penrhyn Coch, which was down sort of above or level with Aberystwyth.
I remember. Yeah, I remember. Oh, that day was a bit of a dampy weather sort of.
No, I disagree with you. It was a nice sunny day. Well, it was sunny when we arrived, and then a bit overcast later on. But I remember we took the lead. I think it was Christian Doige, who scored, or Dan Clare, one of them. Well, they both scored that day.
So it doesn't matter who scored first.
It doesn't really matter who scored first, but we were in front, and then Penrhyn Coch equalised 5-10 minutes later, and then there was a moment in the game. I think it was before half time. One of the former Barry Town players from yesteryear, Luke Sherburn, got sent off, straight red card for a reckless challenge.
I remember that because I don't know who he tackled.
No, neither do I.
But I remember very clearly that Luke Sherburn slid in and clearly took him off. I mean, he actually hit him in his ankles, and he went completely flying, and we all went nuts. I mean, I know this was the player that we actually used to love, and he was
for those people who don't know about Luke Sherburn, go on YouTube and type in Barry Town against Welshpool Town, and it was 4-4 that game when we were in the dark times for Barry Town at that point. And we had a penalty in the 97th minute or 98th minute to win the game for the first time in that Welsh Premier League season. And he was only a young kid. Luke Sherburn stepped up, massive pressure on his shoulders, and he took it and he sent the keeper the wrong way and ended up in the back of the net. And he ran to the corner and all the bald boys and everyone were after him and giving him high fives and hugs, and everyone in the stand was going bananas for that moment, because that win meant so much to the fans for Barry Town because of what they've been through during that time.
And of course, some of you, we actually won at Penryn Coch.
Yes.
Luke Sherburn got sent off.
It was a close game towards the end of that, but we managed to hang on for a 2-1 victory at Penryn Coch. And I have to say, they're a very nice ground. Very nice hospitality down there. Very good football club.
It was down the road though, that clubhouse, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like a little bank, wasn't it? Or...
Yeah, it's sort of across the road. There's a road behind the goal, and then you go across the road, and there's the clubhouse, like a function area.
Like a nice little pub. It was mainly more as a pub, wasn't it? But it was like a little pub, kind of.
Yeah, that's it.
The third round though, this is like trying to remember sort of back. I mean, but you remember. I mean, I remember majority of the matches, but I got to get. Someone's got to remind me, like I mentioned something. But the third round, that was against.
I'll tell you about the third round draw. Took place. The current Wales manager Chris Coleman did the draw for the Football Association of Wales, and Barry Town were drawn at Jenner Park against Ely Rangers. And that game, the first half was a bit of a drab. It was quite tense between the two sides. The Ely Rangers team back then contained the current, I should say, Barry Town player Jordan Cottrell in that team, and it was 0-0 half time. The highlights were on Scodio, because obviously the Scodio people were there, and start of the second half, Ely Rangers broke the deadlock. Jordan Cottrell scored, and
of all people,
it has to be Jordan Cottrell. But no, he's done well for us this season. But yeah, he scored for Ely Rangers that day, so we were up against it. So later on in the second half, we had a bit of luck. Lewis Cosler went into the box. I thought he was going to strike it, hit the back of the net, but he went down, and penalty was awarded. And Nicky Jones stepped up to take the penalty.
Nicky Jones.
Well, he's a good penalty taker back then, and he calmly and confidently slotted the ball top left-hand corner back of the net, and he did his celebration, and he ran it towards the visiting fans, I think, to say he gave him time to be quiet. And
the little shush celebration,
that you see in the modern day football.
We went into extra time though, didn't we?
Yes, it finished 1-1, went into extra time, and the first half of extra time, a bit of miscommunication from the Ely Rangers defence. Passed the ball back, thought he was going to pass the ball back to his player, the Ely Rangers player, but it fell to TJ Nagy, who took his time and he slots it past the goalkeeper. So we were in front, 2-1. And we had this belief now that we can go on and try and get another to kill the game off and to book our place in the fourth round. So in the end, towards the end of the game, Barry struck the third goal to kill the game off, and it was just a touch of brilliance from TJ Nagy. He was up against these defenders and he fought them off, and he produced some scintillating footwork, and slotted the ball past the goalkeeper. 3-1. The game was done and dusted, and we booked our place in the fourth round.
The fourth round, for us, I think that was the most. Either the fourth round or the quarterfinals were the most stressful ones. But talking about the fourth round first, we played against Pontardawe.
Yes.
And then I think that was the most stressful one because I thought we were going to do another Ely Rangers kind of round because we were 1-1. And then we were like, oh, great, we're going to do another Ely Rangers. We're going to have to go into extra time. That's it, we're done.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden...
I'll tell you about the fourth round story. My brother and I weren't there that day when we played Pontardawe because we were in London that time because we went to watch a live wrestling event down at the Wembley Arena, and we've been I think we travelled around London, and we went to our hotel room. We booked a hotel room just across the road from the Wembley Arena, and we've been constantly looking at my brother's phone just to get some updates on what's happening at Jenner Park.
Including me, you were actually asking me what was going on. Reece, what's happening?
But I remember early on, I think we were on the train, we were 1-0 down. And I thought, oh no, that's a bad start.
Do you want me to tell the actual fight, the scary moment? Do you want me to tell him that?
Yeah, go on if you want.
Well, basically, for you guys who don't know, Pontardawe succeeded the penalty. The penalty with us, and that was when, like Ryan said, he wasn't there at the time. But at that ground, at Jenner Park, we were all literally clinching onto the handlebars, clinching onto our flags, scarves, everything. We were literally so scared that was it. It was going to be over, and we were literally whispering to ourselves, Dan Bradley, the goalkeeper, come on, Dan, you got to save this. You got to save this. He didn't save it, but the player sent the ball over the bar.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, because obviously we after we went 1-0 down, we equalised from Lee Baldock, and then a couple of minutes later we went in front because of a defensive error from Pontardawe. Ryan Jenkins scored, and then later on in the game, I thought, the Pontardawe penalty incident, it was pretty soft. When I watched it back when the Scorio people were down there doing the highlights, and it was quite a soft penalty, if I'm being honest, watching it back. But when me and Ashley were in London, and Twitter said penalty to Pontardawe, oh no, we were hoping, praying that Dan can save, but he took a penalty, and luckily he blazed it over the crossbar, and the whole place erupted when he missed. Like you said earlier on, you said that you were clinging on to something, trying to hoping, praying that they can hang on and make sure that it remained a 2-1 scoreline, and in the end it did, and there was a sense of belief that this team, this Barry Town United side, or this Barry Town side, can go all the way.
And the quarterfinals came. Flint Town United away.
Yes.
Now I'm sounding a bit smuggish here because that was one of my best days of my life. Even like if you ask people, but actually I'm not going to tell the story. I'm going to ask Ryan because he's the guest. He's the man on this podcast show. It's it's going to be his show. I know it says the Deansy Boy Show on there, but this is his show now. He's going to tell that story of Flint Town. I've got nothing to say because it's a very good story.
The day we played Flint in the quarterfinals, a nice bus trip up north. The sun was shining. There was a few people on that trip. There was a bit of sense of optimism, which obviously you want as a supporter, because you have to be optimistic in games like the quarterfinals, the Welsh Cup, or a semi-final. But when we got there, obviously the ground was filling up. The players trained on the pitch. They would head to the tunnel. They head to the changing rooms. The players came out. The Barry players came out, and we all started the chanting, and it was the best atmosphere I've ever been involved in. The chanting, the songs, just helped the team through, and it helped the team, go on to achieve a fantastic display of football. That opening goal, it looked like that our captain James Sadler was brought down in the penalty area, but the referee, it looked like he was going to point to the spot, but it was just outside the penalty area from the referee's point of view anyway. And the free kick was set up. Ryan Evans, I didn't know that he was a good free kick. I didn't know he was good at taking free kicks at that point, but they rely on him, and he shot through the wall, and the keeper did not reach for the ball in the back of the net. The away stand, the Barry stand, because every away game we've ever been to is at the stand. The one stand is always filled by Barry fans, but that stand that day, when the goal went in, the atmosphere was absolutely amazing. It was full of cheer. There was optimism from the fans, and that we had this belief that we can pull off another Welsh Cup Welsh Cup victory. Half time, 1-0 up. Now, it's always going to be a tight game against the teams like Flint, but the second half we very much played like we played in the first half. It was quite a tense second half. All we needed to do was to try and get a second goal to ease the pressure, and the ball rolled towards the Flint defender, and the Flint defender was meant to kick the ball downfield. He completely misjudged the ball, so the ball escaped from him. It rolled and it rolled and it rolled, and then Ryan Jenkins was there, and he capitalised on the Flint defender's mistake, and the keeper tried to come out as quickly as possible to prevent Ryan Jenkins from having any shot to aim for, but he was too late. Ryan Jenkins got there first, and he slotted the ball under the legs of the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. And I'll always remember Tim Johnson was behind the goal, and he was jumping up, and he was punching the air like this. And then the crowd, the noise, it was electric. And when we were 2-0 up, we realised this is our moment. This is our chance to shine. This is our moment. This is our opportunity to grab. And but there's Ian Rush's son was playing for Flint that day, and that obviously you talk the Flint Town United quarter-final Welsh Cup tie will always be remembered with that fantastic win. The players absolutely fantastic on that day, but there was one moment in particular that I'll always remember. Ian Rush was there because he was there supporting his son. His son was playing for Flint, and he was on the verge of leaving the ground because he had other plans. I don't know what. He had other plans. He had other places to go to, and you said to me that Everton were playing and they were winning because obviously he's Ian Rush, Liverpool legend. And as he was walking along to leave the ground, you shouted, "Ian, Ian, Ian!" And he looked up at the stand, and he looked at you, and you said, "Don't worry, Everton's winning," and and everyone from Ash, Jason, Scott, everyone was just absolutely crying with laughter.
Oh.
And me as well. I was going laughter about that.
Oh, I know. It became a Reece Deans day instead of a Barry Town day that day. I'll add more to it. What was going on at the time was that, of course, Barry were beating Flint, that's Ian Rush's son's team. Liverpool were losing, and Everton were winning the game. And Ryan, who's sitting next to me, Nick, Ashley, Jason was sitting next to me. But Jason knows I'm a big autograph geek. I love to get signatures from famous people.
Yeah.
So I mean, everyone, and including you were telling me to go and get his autograph. It's once in a lifetime, probably. Go and get it. And I just stood there and I was like, actually, I'm not gonna get it. And they were like, "What? Why?" And I was like, "I got something better, actually." So that's when I started shouting Ian, and it took time for him to actually notice that I was shouting at him, because I actually shouted at him for quite a while to get his attention.
You did quite shout quite loud at him to try and get his attention.
Yeah, I was because we were far back. We were in the further back of the stand. So, but the stand, to think about it, the stand's not really that big, so it wouldn't be hard for him to hear. So as he turned around, that's when I did go, "Everton are winning, don't worry about it." And it's just so funny, you just can't help it. Yeah. But and Jason right next to me, everyone was in tears and everyone was shaking my hand. But that day though, I think that was but it was a very stressful day, because I remember after that, even though we were laughing, not something bad happened. Nothing really bad in the game happened. It was just something not right for us. Some of us were very stressed, weren't we? We were feeling the pressure then.
It was obviously when you're 2-0 up, it's not done and dusted if you're 2-0 up, because obviously, like last weekend, for example, when Tom Pentra were 2-0 up, and they thought they would hang on and win, but we managed to fight our way back and came a draw 2-2 in the end. But obviously, 2-0 when you're 2-0 up, it's not a safe place. It's not a safe score to be at. Obviously, it's great if you're up, but at that time, after being 2-0 up, we hung on and not give Flint a chance to or a sniff at goal. And I think the Barry players that day did a fantastic job in making sure that it remained 2-0. So every Barry supporter that day, you, me, Ash, Jason, Scott, Jack, everyone was sort of grabbing onto something, hoping praying, please, come on, can it get this over with, please?
Because I remember very, very clearly. Because we were so far back in the corner of the stand. I remember Jason was on my right. He was literally in the corner. He had his arm over his face, and he just couldn't watch. I mean, literally, Jason loves watching football. To get to know Jason, you gotta talk about football to him. That's But he was
that's his blood. That's his life.
But he was covering his face, and he was literally just rubbing his eyes, and he was just like, "Oh my God, I can't." And there was me on my knees, literally on my knees, clinching my hands together and just praying. I mean, just praying, just get this over with, And then there was my cousin pat me on the back, trying to comfort me. There was you standing right next to me. You had your head back. You were like, oh. I mean, some of us were either hands to our faces, praying, kneeling, everything. It was just, oh my God, that moment. Oh, like I think about it now. I mean, me and you, we're just like, oh, for crying out loud, what's going on here, But then,
yeah, it was very stressful, but in the end, it was worth it because we won on the day and got to the semi-final.
And we invaded the pitch, didn't we? We did a pitch invasion.
We did a pitch invasion and had the photograph taken, which I've still got.
We've all got.
We all got that infamous picture. I think it was in one of the programs during that season. All programs had a picture of that day when we won at Flint, and it was the best photograph. Very good photograph.
But it wasn't the end of me, though.
No, it wasn't the end of you, because I remember after the game, Gavin Chesterfield, the manager of Barry Town, was doing an interview for Scorio for the highlights for the Monday, and he was starting talking. The camera was at him, and he started talking, and then all of a sudden there's this person running with a Welsh flag, and it's you. It was Rhys Deans holding a Welsh flag, and he sort of put the Welsh flag over Gavin's shoulders, and he was laughing as well. But that was a good moment that day.
Well, I'll tell you more about it. It was Jason's idea. It wasn't really originally my idea. I mean, I was more proud that I literally ripped into Ian about the Everton result, but it was Jason's idea who said to me, "Rhys, here's the Welsh flag, go and put it over him, get your fame." I was like, "Oh, I've already got fame," but he told me to do that, and I just went, and it's on YouTube as well.
Yeah,
and it got on telly as well. I was expecting that.
On telly, yeah, it's on YouTube. Type in Barry against Flint against Barry Welsh Cup, and it'll have the highlights of that game, and you see Rhys towards the end of the clip with the Welsh flag.
Wait a minute, how old was I? This is going back 3 years ago. Like, how old? I'm 19. I'm 19 now.
This was 2013.
I was 16. 15, 16.
16 that time.
Yeah, 16. Yeah, 16 years old. I'm doing that. I think, I don't know about you, but I wasn't. I was really gutted about who we had in the next round, though. We had Prestatyn in the semi-final.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted TNS.
Yeah, you wanted TNS.
I wanted TNS big time because I know if we beat TNS, we got him out of the picture.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, as we were on the way back to Barry, I thought to myself, "Oh, wait a minute! What if we actually got TNS in the final?" Because if I don't know if you thought about that, but when I was thinking about it, if we had TNS in the final, they can qualify for Europe because they were already qualifying for the UEFA Champions League.
Yeah, well, after the Flint game, the draw took place straight after. The semi-final draw took place after the Flint game, and we were drawn to face Prestatyn Town in the semi-final. So the four teams in that semi-final were Barry Town, Prestatyn Town, Bangor City, and the New Saints. They were the four teams left in the Welsh Cup. We were drawn. It was going to be Bangor. It's going to be TNS.
Yeah.
But no, Prestatyn, and it was the first time that Barry and Prestatyn have ever faced each other in that semi-final.
Was it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the first time. They've never ever faced each other ever until that day. But obviously there was a bit of optimism for that semi-final, because if we'd won that game and if TNS had won that other semi-final against Bangor, and we would have won that other semi-final, it would have been Barry against TNS in the Welsh Cup final. We would have qualified for Europe before we fought TNS, because TNS won the Welsh Premier League title
way too early.
Too early at that.
Because they
point.
dominated the league, didn't they?
Oh yeah, well they still are. Let's be honest. But they dominated the Welsh Premier League at that point. They won the league quite easily. So if they got to the final and we'd won that semi-final, we would have gone in Europe before we had the chance to play TNS.
Like everyone's a winner.
Yes, and
it'll be
it would have been I mean, we wouldn't have to worry about
winning.
trying to beat TNS to get into Europe or anyone.
I mean, it would have been good. It would have been good to beat. But I think even in TNS, I think they would admit as well. It's like, oh no, we wouldn't care who won. We would be more happy for both teams in that final to go off and go for the just go in to play for Europe and representing Wales.
Absolutely, yes.
But we had to get and beat. We had to try and beat Prestatyn, though.
Yes. The day we played Prestatyn, the semi-final took place in Latham Park in Newtown, and obviously the other semi-final took place in Rhyl between Bangor and TNS. We played at Latham Park. It was the first time I've ever been to Latham Park in Newtown. And I have to say, your first time as well?
Yeah.
I have to say the setup there was fantastic.
Oh, it was very nice ground.
It was it's a lovely ground, fantastic people, and the chairman of Newtown, who's a massive Coventry City fan.
Was he Coventry City?
Yeah. In which I didn't know about until my brother told me.
But your brother brought another Coventry City fan, didn't he? He brought Jim along.
Yeah.
Jim, good old Jim.
Good old Jim.
But for some of you who do not know Jim, just look up Attack Pro Wrestling. He's he's always the announcer, isn't he?
He's the announcer for Attack Pro Wrestling, and he's a massive Coventry City fan. He's
got light blue in his blood, you know.
Oh, he has, and he's very funny on social media. And this 500 beers challenge he's doing this year, when he's attempting to drink 500 different beers in 1 year.
How is that possible?
I know. There's
500 beers.
I thought. I looked through and I thought he's done over 250 so far. I think.
250 beers.
Where does he find the different beers? It's just quite extraordinary.
He's only travelling back and forth from Bristol to Cardiff or Coventry.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, I soon realised he's a Coventry City fan. He's diehard fan.
But
the clubhouse was nice though. Yeah, that was nice. Playing pool and all that. But when the game came, it was a hot day. It was summer.
It was around about April, the beginning of April. It was the Welsh Cup semi-final against Prestatyn Town. We took the bus from Jenner Park, left Jenner Park at about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and we stopped off halfway to Rayada. Or Rayada, whatever it's pronounced.
Hey, wait a minute, for us Welsh people, it is hard to pronounce our own flipping. Like Llanfair Pushing, I can't pronounce the rest.
That place with a long name.
Yeah, that place with a long name
that people can't pronounce.
Not even the Welsh can pronounce it. Well, there's a few, but there's some who can't. But Rayada, whatever you want to call it. I call it Vrida for some reason.
Yes. Anyway, we stopped off at Rayada for a break, and then we head back onto the bus to Newtown, and we arrived in Newtown, and we were the first ones there. we were there first. The supporters got off first, and then the players went off afterwards, and then we walked through us, and we gave them a round of applause, and then later on, Prestatyn arrived, and the players went up, and then the fans came up, walked along, and we had our stand. We set our stand up, and obviously, I don't know if you noticed, but the North Wales teams, or Prestatyn, or any team in North Wales, would like wherever side the team is facing, they always face at that direction. So, say for example, Prestatyn, if Prestatyn was kicking off from left to right, then the Prestatyn fans would be behind the Barry goal, if you know what I mean.
Oh, that I'm sorry for my French again. That pissed me right off. That did.
Yeah, well, I think all North Wales teams do that. But anyway, on to the game.
Yeah.
We
had banter with the fans.
We had plenty of banter. I wasn't sure if they got it or anything like that. But anyway, we kept on with the banter, and it was a very lively atmosphere. Good crowd. The crowd, the Barry crowd in yellow, Prestatyn fans in red. They broke the deadlock. Andy Parkinson scoring for Prestatyn, and the fans behind the goal was jumping up and down and clapping and doing all those things, and then they started chanting, "We're all going on a European tour," after they'd scored first, right? And all of a sudden, Bully, Lee Baldock, or whoever crossed the shot a long ball, and it fell to TJ Nagy, and TJ Nagy took on one defender, beat him, took on the second defender, beat him as well, beat the third defender, and then he calmly slots it below the goalkeeper, beats John Hill Dunt in the Prestatyn goal, and the Barry people went absolutely mad and full of joy and full of excitement
Yeah.
because, and there was belief that could this be our day? Could this be the day when Barry Town get to a Welsh Cup final for the first time since 2003?
Yeah, and I know at the time that was 10 years. 10 years ago. In 2013, at the time, was 10 years ago. The last time.
And I was there from the last Welsh Cup final in Lleslie, when we won on penalties against Cwmbran Town. But back to Prestatyn, when we equalised, and the Barry fans just took over the singing department,
Yeah.
and the Prestatyn fans just stopped in silence.
Yeah.
And I'm not too sure what they sung, the Barry fans, when we got that equaliser, but it just kept the Prestatyn very quiet, and to be honest, Barry had chances to win that game. I mean, Michael Hartley had a chance from it. Looked, the goalkeeper was off his line. He was attempted to clear the ball, but the ball went low into the ground, and it fell to Michael Hartley, and then it just missed beyond the goalkeeper. And then obviously half time, it was 1-1, I think, at that point, and then it felt like we had the momentum. We had more chances in the second half. TJ Nagy in particular had one or two opportunities to put us in front for the first time in the game, but it didn't quite happen. But then obviously Prestatyn had their chances as well, but then their breakthrough happened when a corner was whipped in and Jason Price with his afro head headed the ball.
Fellaini.
The Fellaini haircut, put into the back of the net, and the people behind the goal, Prestatyn fans, they swapped sides again. They were
really putting Dan Bradley off his game. I think
they were, and well, obviously, I think obviously that it's going to happen at at some time, but we had a chance to equalise. Michael Hartley again, but then the final whistle went, and there was just devastation from us, the Barry fans, totally. You, me, everyone. I think you had your hands on your eyes. You covered your eyes. I think some people covered their mouths. There's quite a few people in tears.
I was in tears. That's why I covered my face, actually. I had to be honest. Because I dreamt so much of Barry heading to Europe and Welsh Cup dreams again. You know, I thought this could be the actual one. Yeah, when it came down to after the final whistle, I just basically lost my cool and started to cry. Of like a 16-year-old me crying. I know it's like, oh come on, no, but it did mean so much, not just to me, but for Ryan as well, for the other fans, and some fans who've been there longer, who went through the bad times, the good times, you know, and Nick Hewitt and Darren Beattie, they tried to get me back up on my because I remember sliding down on the back and just sat there crying, and they were trying to pick me up, saying, "No, come on, clap for the team." Well, I was just too emotionally upset by the outcome of that game, but it wasn't all doom and gloom though, wasn't it? But
no, but afterwards the final whistle went. The applause, the players, I have to say, have been outstanding at that point, because you know they've took us to a semi-final of a Welsh Cup. Gavin, the manager, took us to a Welsh Cup semi-final for the first time he's ever achieved, and the fans were amazing as well. Without the fans, there'd be no Barry Town, and I genuinely believe the fans play a massive role in helping the team, because without it, Barry would not exist. So that's how I see it.
We're gonna have a break. We're gonna have a drink of water, a cup of tea, and then.
Okay.
And then we'll get back to the Barrytown story, but it's actually been really good, because first time in the Deansy Boys show, right?
Yes.
It's been over an hour.
Oh, brilliant!
Over an hour. Have a look at that. It's over an hour.
Oh, amazing!
Yes, yeah. You're the first person, or like the first time for me as well, that we actually gone over an hour.
Well, I'm just glad that I've told quite a lot of stories that opening half, and there's going to be some more in the second half.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're going to have a break, but there will be a part 2. And this is the Deansy Boy Show, and we'll be speaking to you soon.